to discuss personnel matter.
She ain't gonna be in the room.
Well, our time in bed, this will be real quick.
Finance, right?
No, you home. Not
Thank you to the, thank you.
You is not.
The time is The time is February. The time is, the date is February. The date is February. The time is 7:17. The City of East Cleveland Finance Committee meeting is now called to order. Dr. Guy, can you call the roll, please?
Counselor Austin.
Present.
Counselor Stevenson.
Present.
Counselor Martin.
Present.
Counselor Gavin.
Present.
And Counselor Smith.
Present.
We have our Mayor King present. Our Law Director, Will Simmons, present.
Supposed to say here.
And our Finance Director, Charles Leahan, present.
Thank you. Next remarks of the public on agenda items, 2 minutes.
I don't know whether we should talk about the agenda item or talk about getting some order in this council.
Me.
This, I never seen nothing like this in my life.
Me either.
This is ridiculous.
Hey,
And you're supposed to represent the city. You play a pivotal role, and I'm gonna take the time saying that. Because you must come together with dealing with matters that affect the city. And not spin up here yakking with each other or what have you. You're here, you was elected to a duty and a responsibility. And that's what you need to do. And you need to put out put aside these personalities here and work together. Because you're working for the best of the city. And we are your boss. So now we're telling you that if you keep doing this, we know what to do. And I'm serious about that. And people have been calling me about that, but I've been holding up. So you gonna get together. There's order in the business here. And not just talking over this one or that one or whatever. All of you have the same authority and power here, but you must recognize the chair. And because the chair meeting, whoever chair in the meeting, that person is in charge of that particular meeting. And you have to come together. And in order to accomplish anything, you must work together. All 3 branches of government. So now if you can't get it together, we can get it together for you. And this doesn't make any sense. Now I've spoken.
Justin Anderson, August Road, Terrace Road. In regards to the January 2020 financial report, I think it's extremely vague. I would like to see a little bit more information in the report. When I compare it to other cities, they have much more information, much more details. So that's the first thing. And ordinance number 5-20. Enter into a contract for them to audit our finance department, it looks like. Audit the City of East Cleveland's 2018, 19, and 20 budgets. So $202,000 is a lot of money. Have we searched for other firms? Pretty much it. That's all I want to know. Have we looked at other firms to possibly pay to do this? 'Cause that seems like a lot of money, but I'm not an expert in auditing. That's it.
It's a great question. That's a question to be answered for you tonight. So we asked the same thing. It's a great question. All right. January 2020 financial report. I'll just go over it briefly instead of calling. So we still call our finance director up, but we wasted a lot of time going over other things. So as I stated, we ended the year in 2019 in the black, Councilman Martin. This is the January 2020 report. Income tax. General fund year-to-date revenues compared to estimated resources as of January 31st, 2020. Income taxes, estimated revenues, $4,724,999.99. Year-to-date revenues, $470,800.68. Property taxes, special assessments, estimated revenues, $1,161,841.82. Year-to-date revenues as of January 31st, 2020, $94,000. Local government fund, estimated revenues of $1,430,764.47. Year-to-date, $155,148.37. Building permits and housing fees are important. Estimated revenues, $250,992.64. Year-to-date, revenues, $125. Automatic traffic enforcement. Estimated revenues, $1,863,841.18. Year-to-date, for 1 month, $100,830.99. Most of that is in the school zones.
Brother Smith, did you do the refuge fees?
No, I skipped. I was just trying to go to the most important one that I know we can all go over it later. But for my colleague, no problem. Refuse fees. Estimated revenues, $772,000. Year-to-date revenues, $71,684.69. You can flip the page to year-to-date expenses compared to appropriations as of when we are 1 month in, as of January 31st, 2020. Our general fund appropriations were $12,001,166.91. Year-to-date, as of January 31st, 2020, our year-to-date expenses have been $933,264.67. The street fund appropriated is $778,530. Year-to-date, as of January 31st, 2020, our expenses have been $30,964.31. EMS appropriated $784,348.34 as of January 31st, year-to-date. Year-to-date expenses $53,303.57. The Permanent Improvement Fund appropriated was $611,269.74. Our year-to-date expenses for 1 month have been $219,508.99. Year-to-date expenses compared to appropriations by department for the first month of 2020. Police Department was appropriated $3,597,525.69. As of this date, expenses $275,822.58. Our fire department was appropriated $2,098,962.56.
Yes.
Year-to-date expenses $137,084.24. $137,084.24. Street lighting, we asked about street lighting. Street lighting is a lot. Street lights a lot. Appropriations for street lighting, $221,172.40 as of January 31st, 2020. Expenses, $15,917.53. Let's move to now let's see if I go to my colleagues, see if any line that you.
I just wanted to say, Mr. Chairman, what stood out for me so far is the automatic traffic enforcement. That's where we're getting a lot of our revenue from. 1,863,841.18 from last year. So we're doing pretty good with that. That's kind of sustaining us to some extent. Is that true, man?
No, not
No.
actually.
Okay.
It's important as we become in the budget, so we're used to spending and we have increased what we do in our services, personnel. So yes, from that perspective,
Okay.
right now most of those lights are out.
So you think that as we go into 2020 that we're gonna lose some revenue because of? Okay.
Absolutely. So most of those lights are out right now.
All right. Okay.
Brother Chair, I got a question on page 2, looking at the permanent improvement. I noticed we're about 36% spent, and I want to know whether is that something that was projected for early expenditure like that, or?
Catch up to you.
On page 2, permanent
Right
improvement.
here. Right here. Hey, do something right here.
36%.
Yeah, I see it. Percentage of appropriation to expenses, Brother Austin.
We can start right there with our finance director and find out.
Good evening, council.
Days, man.
The reason for the percentage so high is because we had to, the floor work for the MLK Center didn't start as we projected in last quarter of 19. And so the contractor did not start the work. And we didn't spend the cash that we gave him to start the work until last month. So the floor that's the reason for the spike, because he finally began to expense doing the work this year in January. And that total project is estimated to be close to 300,000. So you get 200,000 in 2019 is from the floor work.
Okay, so is that a reference of progress, where he's like,
Then Mayor
2/3 of the way through?
Mayor could probably speak. I think he's getting started. He's getting his supplies.
Okay, so it's a material heavy venture.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, great, I got it, understand, thank you.
Charles, gonna ask you, we were saying we're paying 300,000. Are we gonna have a kitchen in this facility? Is there gonna be a kitchen where people can be served food and maybe we can have,
Where
banquets?
you
I'm
talking
talking about the Civic Center.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't answer that.
I'll ask her maybe. Okay. Huh?
Answer, yes.
Yes.
So there
Okay.
is a kitchen in the facility now, under the renovations that we are currently talking about. There is no kitchen renovation
Okay.
in what we're discussing right now. There is a kitchen there though.
Amen.
So do we have any more questions, concerns about the line items before we move on to the legislation?
No, it kind of speaks for itself.
Compare from this year and last year, you all know how it goes better than me.
Yeah.
Anything that we missed on as far as the numbers for the end report?
Outside of the expenditure for the permanent improvement, nothing everything else is pretty standard just for 1 month.
Let me ask you this, because I hear a lot of times that our people don't pay taxes. And Rita collects taxes for our city, is that correct?
Yes.
What do they do for individuals? Do they have an enforcement mechanism when people ain't paying their taxes to make sure that, what they do in that area? Educate me on that, please.
They file small claims against that person in our municipal court.
Okay.
So they use Javik and Block as the attorney to file small claims against those who are delinquent in their taxes, and they have to come to East Cleveland Municipal Court. And so they charge us a fee for doing that, but they do have a delinquent collection enforcement program.
Okay.
And then they also do a subpoena program every 2 years. We participated in 2017. They recommend only doing a couple of years. That's where they would come to the city, find a location that's suitable for delinquent taxpayers to come, and they'll send out a notice to them saying, hey, you owe this amount in outstanding taxes, come on in and we'll work a agreement, a payment arrangement. And so they did that in 17. We got about $30,000 worth of outstanding.
Okay.
So we'll probably do it again this year, because that was in 17. We didn't do it in 18 and 19, so we'll probably do it in 2020. So those are two different methods that Rita uses to capture delinquent taxpayers.
Thank you.
Any other comments, concerns from my colleagues on the January 2020 financial report? Thank you. Next, we have legislation ordinance number 05-20. Dr. Guy, please.
Okay, ordinance number 05-20, an ordinance to authorize the mayor to extend the contract with Cheney and Pacini, I think I said that correctly, an independent public accounting firm, IPA, to audit the city of East Cleveland's 2018, 2019, and 2020 financial statements for the total cost of $202,360 over the course of 3 years, requested by the finance director, Charles Eahan, and sponsored by Ernest L. Smith, council president.
Thank you. Director Charles, can you come back up? I know your presentation is going to answer that question that came earlier.
Yes, so I too reached out to state auditor office who is the facilitator for all cities and getting their audits done, and I asked them I would like to do a new RFP to see if we could get a lower price. So my contact there, Alan, he responded in a lengthy email just highlighting some of the variables that you must consider and just not being focused on price. One of them is that obviously this is 3 years of audit, so it's not paying $202,000 up front. Second, that is just an estimate of what the actual hours they would actually need to complete the audit. So the faster and the more available the documents they need for completing the audits, the less time it takes, the less it's going to cost. Their suggestion, my suggestion of doing the RP said they suggested you have to consider that you're already 1 year behind. So each year, at the end of each year, you need to have that year, a prior year audit by June. That's in our high-rise code. So 2018 audit, which is part of this extension, was technically supposed to be been done in June of 19. But because we were so many years behind in audits, they just finalized 2017 in November of 19. So the time it would take to do a RFP and to see with the pricing, and then say you find somebody who give us a lower price. then we have to consider just the quality of work that you get, which I really want to know. We know Chuny, they done great work. This a new firm at a lower price would have to get to know the city, not just the finance department. Would have to get to know, have conversations with council, which they're going to continue. Chuny would have to do it anyway, but they already know a lot of the officials already, so they already know what questions and who to ask. Whereas a new firm would have to get to know who to ask, what personnel. That's going to take time, and the more time they take now, their price for the time they take may actually be more. So let's say, for example, somebody say, "Oh, we could do it." So the 18, Chuny say we do it 455 hours, and say you do an RP, somebody say we could do it 300 hours, and it'd be lower as far as their estimate. But they actually come and do the work, and you gotta understand this 455 is based upon Chuny knowing how much time it actually would take to do an order versus somebody else doing RP. They just throwing the number out there, probably trying to get the lowest bid. They come in, try to get to know us. Now that 300 day estimated could be at 455 or it could be more. So you can actually end up spending more with a new firm trying to get to know the city, trying to get to understand the books versus a firm that already know their books, know what to look for, know who to ask. You're trying to get this and wrap it up. I don't want to spend 202. I know it's the end. So my goal is to give Chuny all that they need, get it done, and so we're not actually, at the end of the day, we're not actually spending this 202. So those were, main reasons why the state auditor's office recommended us doing one more extension. This will be the last extension, not just because we'll be truly caught up, but by high rise code, one auditing firm cannot audit a city for 10 years. And so Chuny, this is agreement started in 2011. And so 2011 up until 2020, that would be 10 years. So we would have to do a RFP in 2021 just because Chuny has met his maximum years to audit East Cleveland. So that's, it's about efficiency, it's about familiarity, it's about us getting this done, and I feel confident that the hours that they're projecting that they'll need, they won't, as we have built more efficiencies and kind of used to them, know what to look for. We put the documents they need ready to go. So we get them in here, wrap it up, get 2018 done before June, and then hopefully get 2019 done before June as well, because 2019 is due by June 2020, and then the estimated 70,000 for 2021. Well, we're in 2021 now, so that audit won't actually happen until next year. So that cost, so we're not actually spending. Again, you're not really listening. Spending 202,000 in 2020.
So it's conceivable that we may not spend 202,360.
Yes.
My question is, so this is over a 3-year period, isn't it?
They're auditing 3 years. But
right.
we're behind 1 year. We're gonna work to get 2 years of audit done this year.
Okay.
2018, we gotta do that first. And then 2019 obviously just ended, so we're gonna do 2019 too. So we're trying to get 2 years of audit done in the next 6 to 9 months.
So how does that break down in terms of how much we pay for 2018, how much we pay for 2019?
The schedule.
How does that break down? I looked in here, I didn't see a figure. Break it down for me. How would that break down?
Right there. Oh, you do have it right there.
Right here,
So look at
what I'm looking at.
the top table.
Okay, we said partner, manager, senior accountant, staff accountant. You at that point here? So, okay.
You get the same.
Okay, all right.
So look
So
at
go
the
through
top.
that for me right quick.
So
Okay,
they just
what
tell
I'm
you
trying
this
to
is their
find out-
cost. So they tell you, so partner, he was, what they believe he would get involved would be 20 hours for 2018, and he's charging at $255. So
That's the hourly rate, right? What's
yeah,
the-
that's the hourly rate. Yes.
Okay.
And most of the departments and managers, they're gonna be CPA. So that's why auditing firms, they know they can charge more than having a licensed
See, what
CPA.
threw me off here, Charles, it doesn't have the year, like you said.
It's right at the bottom. Look at the
Down here.
bottom row total for the period ending 2018.
Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, so that's 18. So they're estimating 18 will only cost
64,160.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then the table below it breaks down 19's estimate cost
Mm-hmm.
and then 2020 estimate cost based upon the hours that they estimate that it'll take
Okay.
to do
Alright.
the work.
And by them being familiar with us, it could take less time than that possible.
Absolutely. That's the whole plan, and keeping the same staff helps. Fortunately, over time, when you have different staff coming through, and it's not just for finance, any department. When you have turnover, fire has it, police have it. You lose efficiencies when you have turnover. So it's no different in finance when you have turnover, like the city had in the last, 5 years or so, but we haven't had much turn in finance. When somebody comes in and says, I need this document, if you know that person's been there for a while, they know exactly where to get that document. Whereas you have turnover, you got a new person, you got to train them, they don't know where stuff at, you got to take time. All this, takes time, and time is money.
Absolutely, Councilman Hart.
Yes, I'm very excited. I remember the last discussion we had about this, how we have an opportunity for fee step down. And the council president referred to the efficiencies and that fee step down. And I want to ask about, you said about training the new personnel. I think it'd be absolutely phenomenally beneficial to the city if you have the right set of folks. So this is my audit team, the city audit team. Like this person follows this person, this person follows this group, so that way I know the 18 things that are on my list, and those efficiencies that you're going to be able to realize through this process is going to kill the game. And obviously that's how you can do that savings. You can get some of those awards that Councilwoman Gowdy has done to make sure that y'all start getting in the future, because she's going to be on top of that personnel and appointment stuff to establish that process if it doesn't exist yet. Because we're going to come out of physical emergency, and we're going to be able to, recognize outstanding performance.
Absolutely.
And this is your opportunity right here.
And this is
Thank you, sir.
This is no different than, to me, any other department that, as you said, training, trying to retain that personnel, knowing your job, and you know what the other person, they know what they're supposed to do, and building that process and efficiency. And I feel confident in the team that I have in finance that they're not going anywhere right now. So I'm looking forward to, as you said, realizing those efficiencies through this audit.
Okay.
Councilwoman Stevenson.
Yes, in looking at this, the annual cost is below the national standard, and that's what counts. We're not spending as much as we could spend on an annual audit, and based over this 3-year or 4-year period, we are on target.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Council. See, I know 202 looks obviously a lot, for East Cleveland.
Right.
But when you look at the national standards, we're below that. So it's just something we have to do. I mean, it's just plain simple. It's nothing to get around it. And as the old saying, you pay for what you get, right? So we can, you can look at getting a cheaper firm. I'm not saying, I want to spend the top dollars, but at the same time, still want to make sure we get quality.
But after 2020, we can't deal with them anyway, right?
No,
Right.
we can't deal with them anyway. So, but it's a lot of good firms out there. Chuney's not the only one. So there's a lot of good firms out there.
So, my colleagues, we have the consensus to move this on to the move it.
Right.
Yes, let's move it on.
Thank you very much, to our finance director, Charles EIN. Right?
Yep. Right.
Next, we have remarks and requests of the public.
Justin Anderson, Terrace Road. Even though this is an extended contract, I think it still needs to be put out for bid. I don't know if someone said it was or not, I was in the hallway. But this still needs to be put out for bid. It's great that they know our books, it's all fine and dandy. It's great that it seems cheaper than others, but it still needs to be put out for bid. Estimated cost of $60-something thousand a year. Even though we're already into a contract with them, extending the contract, I don't know, have to look into that, but I think it should still be put out for bid, $202,000, because you're adding more money to it. So I'm pretty sure by my interpretation of the law, you should be putting that back out for bid. And me personally, I wouldn't vote on this until there is a bid for that. But I don't have the capability, so to each its own. You can't have a contract to where you give somebody $10,000 today and then next week you give them 25 and then next week you give them 8. Because it's going to equal to over to 50, that 50 mark, and it should be put out for bid. You can't like break it down and then it's end up being hundreds of thousands of dollars. So maybe you all should pay attention more to that. And let's see. As the assistant of Mrs. Gowdy, we will be sending an 8-page letter to the auditor tomorrow, explaining in details a lot of things. I'll send it to each council person. You can choose to do what you want with it. There is a lot going on with our books, you know. I'm not saying there's bad things going on. I'm not going to get into that right now. But what I will say is that as council people, you have the due diligence to monitor the books. Keep a close eye on this money. Do it in a professional way, of course, but people can't get mad because you want records. And that's what it seems in city government. I'm not going to just say here, but even Cleveland, they make you go through online and do this crazy process to get the records. Then you got to take them to court and all this crazy stuff. So it's just not here. But when people start looking at the records and then they start releasing records to the public, that's when people start getting mad. Well, if everything is fine, what does it matter? You know, so we've got to learn to not get so emotional because people want records and they want to release it, because this is the public's money. And they deserve to know every single dime that we spend, who it's spent on. So that's pretty much all I want to say. Look forward to that letter.
I would like for someone to elucidate on, I believe it's, the contract I guess we have with the garbage collection. I had it marked somewhere. Refuse collection. Used $1,204,000. I don't know what it was last year or year before last, or what kind of contract we had with them, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. But I know the city has totally shrunk between what last year and even this year. So I think that needs to be looked at, as well as I do agree with, and the law is not a matter whether I agree or not. The law says anything over $50,000 has to go out for bids. Now, I don't know whether you have a contract with Cooney for how many years or whatever the case may be, but if you do have that contract with them, then it's touchy, but you still have to go out for bids and keep yourself above water. That is what the law requires, and that's irrefutable. So no one can refute that. So I don't want you getting in trouble, and I know some of you are new, and maybe not cognizant of those laws or whatever, but anything over $50,000 has to go out for bid. That is the law. Secondly, as I said, if you have a contract, you can answer me when I yield. If there's a contract, you just continue with that person. And Cooney was around, I joined my team or whatever. So I agree with the finance director. He's cognizant of the operation and the bookkeeping here or whatever. And even putting it out for bids. If Cooney may come in cheaper than the other people, but just to protect yourself. That's all I'm saying. And that way, everything will be above board. And so that's all I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to do it. That's what the law says you must do. And that's, as I said before, that is irrefutable. So no one sitting here or back here can refute what I just said.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you very much. Next, we have response of council and mayor to remarks of the public. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you all for coming out to this committee meeting. As we say time and time again, committee meetings are where you get the in-depth discussion of legislation, resolutions that are coming before council. We bring out the experts, if you will, people who are trained, licensed professionals in the area of subject, who actually can prove that they know what it is they're talking about in the documents that are in front of you. So for council, in particular for our new councilors, I would encourage you to continue to come to the committee meetings, ask questions, read the documents, right? So that when it comes time to vote on legislation, you know the information and how it will impact the city, and you won't let would-be people come up and dissuade you and or confuse you as to what is in front of you, right? So what is in front of you is proper, and it is the way to go. As the finance director stated, it says in the document that is allowing the mayor to extend the contract. So unless there's any questions or concerns of me, that will conclude my remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Austin.
Council President, I'm not ready yet. Can I come back to it?
Absolutely. Councilwoman Stevenson.
Yes, in response to Mr. Mays about the refuse collection, several years ago, the council voted to increase refuse collection over several years. That money is paid by each household. So the city is actually just a pass-through in that instance. The money comes into the city pays the rubbish bill. So, I mean, they voted for it, the residents have to pay it, not a lot you can do about it until the next go-round.
But I'm saying it has been extended contract, because
No.
if the population has decreased, then there should be a decrease in the revenue. That's what my question is.
Well, you would have to compare years, but I don't think you're gonna find that because of the increase that they voted for to occur each year. Each year, there's an increase in our refuse collection. So it pretty much is gonna even out. And the city's just a pass-through.
Mayor King.
Thank you, Council President. So, our councilwoman is right. So there was a couple councils back. None of us were on council,
Right.
except our senior statesman here. That council did pass an increase through legislation. And as many of the councilors here know, because the majority of you voted on it, my first year as mayor, I renegotiated the refuge with Rumpke. And then last year, I renegotiated it again. And each time it came in front of you, council, to pass, right? So, you know, I know sometimes our memories don't always work as they would, but I'm sure you've been here for the passing of those legislations. So, I just wanted to just clarify that.
Councilman Martin, you have any?
Yeah, I just want us to be very cautious of going out for bid, because I think we need to be sure. I've always, over the years, been told if it's over 50,000, you have to go out for bid. So I don't want us to get ourselves in trouble, not to point the finger at anybody, anyone, but we need to be very cautious about that and make sure that we're doing the right thing. If we're legally allowed to go out for bid, we need to go out for bid. And that's what stuck out to me with this, is the going out for bid for something over 50,000. That's what I needed to say. Okay?
Say something.
Councilwoman Gowdy.
Yes, the bids is very important. And also, if our city is decreasing with people because of the housing and tearing down and the population of the people, then, this should be also a consideration of the money too, should be not the same amount or expanding. It should go down to shrinking. So that's where I'm at, and bids, like I said, is very, very important.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Tim Austin.
Okay, great, thank you, sir. Again, I do appreciate the perspective on new contracts. However, contracts have been authorized for extension for ever since I can remember. They are authorized for extension. There are stipulations and requirements, but they are authorized for extension, and contracts are legally binding. I mean, if you sign up to pay me $5,000 for 5 years, I want all 5 years of my $5,000, and we're not going to negotiate it where it doesn't benefit me. So there will be a time for renegotiation, and that's just for consideration. Somebody said something about a split purchase. Split purchases are not authorized. However, multi-year contracts are authorized. So if we're bidding for 2018, we're good. Whatever happens in that contract year, we're good. But as far as like in 2018, if you want to buy, you know that you need 30 of these items and they exceed your authority, then you cannot break up the contract so it fits within your authority. You have to go through the next higher authority for approval, which would be the council if necessary. But in these instances, I don't think that is the case nor the intent. So again, I do appreciate everybody that comes out, and what you say and do does matter. And there is a few things that are pertaining to the council's conduct that I'm not comfortable with. I don't want to be a part of. I'm exceptionally concerned for the peace and the levity and the ability of the council to perform if certain antics are allowed to persist. I have been personally present when some of the antics have been, performed in the council office. I do not appreciate it. I've seen some of the videos and was able to witness some of the things that are going on. So the things that are being said are not dishonest. They're factual. They can be proven. And I ask that we as a council think about the things that we do and the repercussion of those actions before we do them. Because your level of professionalism will also show up when you don't want it to. Because you begin to act a certain way, you become that way. You know, if you, and for instance, I just want to give you a quick example. A young lady said, I mean, respectfully, she was out there acting like, well, God was blessing her and treating her a certain way. And then when the Spirit of God actually got on her, she couldn't control it. So if you keep on playing like there's something wrong with you, it may become a point where there's really something wrong with you. Or it becomes undeniable that there's something wrong with you. So govern yourself in a way that you want to be able to be displayed, videotape, presented by those you represent from this tape. Brother President, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank my colleagues, thank Dr. Guy, Mr. Mayor, Madam Law Director, Brother Drew, most important, our great Finance Director, Charles Ian. Most importantly, I want to thank you all, my neighbors, the great people of East Cleveland, especially the ones that come up here and whether it's agreed upon or disagreed upon, I say it all the time, you come use your voice. I do appreciate that, whether we agree or not, because a lot of people sit home and don't do anything. But just make sure that it's facts. And again, I beg of you to come up to City Hall, see what's going on. Check on all of us. And if you have to check us, check all of us. We work for you. I appreciate you. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.